Hi everyone, my name is Iben and welcome to the very first look at Planet Zoo 2. I am so incredibly excited that I'm able to share this with you, and I really want to thank Frontier for giving me early access to the trailer because I'm so hyped about this sequel to the game that I love so much. You probably already saw a whole bunch of videos today with all kinds of information on the new sequel, and in this video I want to do a deep dive, a frame by frame analysis of the entire trailer so that we can see all the nitty gritty small details that you probably missed. Let's dive in. We're starting off this first frame with the entrance of a tropical looking zoo, and I must already say the graphics look absolutely amazing. I really love it, but what I want to point out first and for all is a few new pieces. We got these really cool curved wooden pieces at the top left. We've got this really cool metal beam piece on the right and this droopy cloth piece, but we also have an amazing looking bronze tiger statue. I can't wait to use that in my zoo. Then we zoom out and we see a lot more of this zoo. There are so many layers in here and there's so many trees and plants, but there are a few details that I want to point out before we continue. In the bottom left corner we can spot a stone fish statue, which I already really love, and next to it we can also see small decal-like fish pieces. Maybe they are decals, maybe they are like mini statues, I don't know. I hope we get to see a closer look of them soon because they look absolutely amazing from here. On the right you can also see that one of our favorite pieces and one of the pieces that we've all been using so much, the bamboo pieces, are going to be in the sequel as well, and from the looks of it they gotten a new lick of paint. Then we get to see our first animal, a baby Sumatran tiger, and it already looks amazing. But before we dive into this animal, I want to show one small detail that you probably missed, because on the ground floor you can see two mushroom pieces. That's so amazing. We've been asking for mushrooms for so long now, and it was one of those pieces that I really wanted to see in the first game, so I'm so glad that we're finally getting them in the sequel. And then we see the Sumatran tiger for the first time in its full glory, and man, I just want to say it's incredible how much the Planet Zoo team has evolved. Like, we already saw how much they could do with the first game and with the later DLCs, but this is just on a whole nother level. But once again, there are a few really cool details in this frame that I want to point out. In the left you can actually see another piece, another mushroom piece, a bunch of mushrooms on the trees, and another bunch of mushrooms right above that. That's really awesome. Again, a lot of mushroom pieces. I'm really happy, I'm really excited. On the right we can actually see an old piece returning again. That is the bamboo piece from the South American set, and in the next frame you can see it even clearer. Another thing that you can see behind the foliage right there is the silence piece from the first game. As I mentioned, in this frame we can see the bamboo piece a little bit closer. In the back behind these two people you can really see that this is the bamboo piece from the South American team. Probably they just revamped it a little bit, but I'm happy with that because it was a good piece. Another thing that is returning we can spot right behind these two people. There is an education station there again, and I'm so happy to see that. I really like these interactive education stations, and this is a hint to me that we'll probably see all of them returning in the sequel, which I'm really excited about. Then we get it, the money shot of this freaking trailer, the aquariums. It looks absolutely incredible. Just look at all the fish, at all the sea turtles, the mola mola. It's absolutely incredible. And before we dive into this just a little bit deeper, I want to point out one cool thing, which is not as cool as the aquariums, but still nice to know. We do get the old fern pieces back, which is something we all really like. In the next frame, we can actually see a keeper diving in the aquariums, and that is absolutely insane to me. It almost looks as if it interacts with one of the guests. That's just bonkers. When we dive in further and we go into the water, it absolutely looks incredible. All the cool new underwater plants look amazing. We have a boat in the background, which I really love. But another thing that I wanted to point out that I was very happy about is that all of the aquatic plants from the aquatic pack seem to be returning as well. We see the eelgrass, we see the temple plant, and we see that other plant that I'm completely blanking on right now. But I'm really happy about that because these were a bunch of plants that I used to use a lot, especially in underwater settings, but also on land settings. So I'm really happy that these seem to return in the sequel. Then we move on to a guest area, and there's some really cool things we can spot here. First off, the gift shops return, and as we can see, we are getting the zebra, the elephant plushie, and the masks that came in the first game. I'm really happy about that because I really like those pieces, and I'm also really happy that we're going to get the gift shops back again. It felt like a given, especially with the gift shops and the restaurants in Planet Coaster 2, but again, I'm really happy that we see it confirmed. I also really like the Trunk of Trinkets sign. That's a really cool brand to have. Next to it, you have a rolled up piece of cloth, which I really love. And on the right, we have our own Chief Leaf. I absolutely adore this new brand. I think this is the Viva la Vegan, but for Planet Zoo 2. And what I absolutely love is that the mascot has a curly mustache. Please, Frontier, let's hope you're giving us a curly mustache piece as well. I'm so looking forward to that. When we zoom out and we move forward, we can see a lot of really cool things in this screenshot. First of all, I really love how the rocks blend with everything in the background, but there's a lot of returning pieces in this view as well. First of all, in the top left, we can see 2 enrichment pieces coming back. Beneath it, we see the education sign that the first game had, and next to it, we have the education point, confirming that educators are coming back in the sequel. Again, really happy about that. I was afraid that we were going to lose a bunch of features in favor of aquariums and aviaries, but it looks like they are including a lot of the major features of the first game, and that is something I'm really happy about. Below that, we can see that we also get a different version of the rock pieces in the back, and that is a dynamic moss rock, which is really cool. We also had that in the first game, and I always really like that. At the bottom left corner, we also get a do not feed sign again, which, in all honesty, I never really liked that much, but later down in this trailer, we'll see a completely new version, which I love a lot more. This shot of the elephant and the wildebeest is absolutely incredible. I love the new grass pieces, and I also really like the dead variants of the trees in the back. But here once again we can see the education point in the background, and that's once again confirmation that we'll see educators again in the next game. Really happy about that. As we move on, we see this incredible, beautiful tunnel that the zebras walk through. It's so gorgeous. The rock pieces are absolutely incredible. I really love how everything looks. There are 2 things that I really wanted to point out in this frame. We see the liana vines once again, the ones that have probably been here since Planet Coaster 1, since that adventure pack. But on the right, we can also see a dead log, and that is something that I also really wanted for a very long time. We didn't have enough pieces like that, and I'm really glad that Frontier took a look at everything that we've built so far, and we made so many of these pieces ourselves, so it's really cool to see that here in the game as well. Really excited. And here we see the chimpanzee for the very first time. It looks absolutely incredible, the animations look wonderful, and I really love how one of the chimps is sitting on one of the beams at the back. Underneath the beam we see this cool rock texture, which I also really like, but one thing that I wanted to point out is the fact that there's a rope coil on top of one of the climbing branches. If you ever try to use this in Planet Zoo 1, you know that this messes up the climbing completely. In Planet Zoo 2, it seems like you can do this and that animals can just keep using the climbing frame. So happy about that. I can't wait to introduce this into my climbing frames. Then we get a shot of the saltwater crocodile, and I think this was one of the first times that it really hit me how much these animals have changed, how much these animals have improved since the first game. But before we compare the new crocodile to the old one, I want to point out one cool thing, that in the right corner we can see the vista points returning. Again, a feature from the first game that I thought that was going to get cut, but hey, it's here again. I'm really happy for that. And again, I wanted to show you the old saltwater crocodile just to give you an idea where we're coming from. This is what the old one looks like. This is what the new one looks like. It's absolutely incredible. What I also really like is that the jetty platform is coming back again in this game, because I've used that piece a lot in my builds. Then we finally get a shot of the aviaries. They look absolutely incredible. And before we fly into this one, I do want to point out a few cool things. So here we have that brand new do not feed sign that is on top of a bamboo piece, which I really like a lot. And we can also see that we are getting a toucan sign. And I think this is a sign that will probably get these animal signs for every animal in the game. What I also really like is to the left of it, we can see some plants returning from the tropical pack, which I really love. At the bottom, we can also see these cool new toucan bird statues, which again, really like them. I also absolutely love the rock textures once again. They look so good. And then we see our first two birds, the toucans. And one thing that I want to point out right away, birds can actually land on the ground. This was not a feature that was available in Jurassic World Evolution 2, was added in Jurassic World Evolution 3, and I think some people were worried that this wouldn't be the case in Planet Zoo 2. Luckily, we get free flying birds and we actually get them landing on the ground. And not just landing on the ground, no, we can also see them perch on trees and other items. I think this will probably work kind of the same like climbing and perching. It feels like the same mechanic. Some pieces will probably be perchable the same way that pieces are climbable in the first game. And then we see the secretary bird, and I'm pretty sure they included this bird in the trailer because it was so high on the meta wish list in the first game. I think a lot of people have been wanting this animal for so long, and once you see it flying, I'm really happy that they saved this for the second game. It looks absolutely incredible. But one thing that is also very incredible is the big dead tree in the back. I always loved the dead trees in the first game, and it looks like we're getting a big upgrade to them. So that is really amazing. What I also really like is that you apparently can combine the glass fences with the aviary system, which is again a plus in my book. Here we see another view of that aviary, and it looks really cool. But what I also think looks cool is this keeper, vet, educator, I don't know, like it seems like a mix of all the staff members that we had before. So I really like this new getup, and I'm really interested in seeing what they've done to the staff. From the document that we got, we know that we are going to be able to set timetables, which is something that I also really love about the Planet Coaster 2 game, so I'm happy to see this in the sequel. And in what can only be described as a blink and you'll miss it moment, on the tablet of this caretaker, zookeeper, whatever, we can see a tree kangaroo. I am so freaking excited. I can't contain myself. This is absolutely amazing. And then the secretary bird is flying over a wildlife reserve, which looks absolutely incredible. But what is also incredible is that I think we're getting the Mopingo tree back again. These look like the same trees to me, and these were one of the trees that I really loved in the first game. And then we get to the final shot of the trailer. Looks absolutely incredible. We can see the secretary birds flying. So they're not flying inside of an aviary, they're flying in the open air. So again, confirming that we have free flying. It looks so incredible. Two other things that I want to point out is that we get these pebbles, which have been in a lot of frames so far, and again a broken log. And the third thing that I really wanted to point out is that we're finally getting these kind of tall trees. I felt like in the first game we never really had many of these tall trees with like a high canopy, and I'm so happy to see them in this game. I can't wait to finally use them in my zoos. Then the trailer shows us the deluxe setup, and I could not be happier. Golden Lion Tamarin, count me in. That is such an amazing inclusion. I'm really happy about that. I also really like the tiger photo wall, and although they are a bit cartoony, my heart isn't made of stone. I really like the animal donation bins. They're so quirky, but they really look nice. And like the normal donation bin always felt too cartoony, but like not cartoony enough. Like these donation bins really look like something that a zoo would do to be whimsical, to like do something for children. And I find that the current donation box just, it looks too cartoony for a realistic one, but it doesn't look cartoony enough to be realistically cartoony, if you get what I mean. I won't ramble about this anymore. Let's go to the next part of this video. Now we also had the countdown to the trailer, and there's also a whole bunch of pieces in here once again that I wanted to point out. There are so many setup pieces, so many clutter pieces. There's like a piece of cloth at the bottom. There's a trash. There's like a sack of trash. I'm completely blanking on the word. Someone will talk about it. And we once again get pallet pieces. And in one of the next slides, you will actually see that a pallet piece is recolorable. We also get a ladder, which I really love because I've made like 5 ladders in the first game, and I'm super happy that we're getting an official piece right now. That is just absolutely amazing. Then in the next picture we can see the African theme, which is looking so much better than the first one. I simply cannot put into words how much the thatch pieces have been upgraded here. I absolutely love them so much. Again, we get a whole bunch of clutter pieces. The new gate over here looks absolutely insane. There is another ladder piece, and this time it's not one that's completely folded out, but it's a smaller one. Again, something I really like. And in the background, we can see one of our first statues of the African theme, the giraffe statue, I believe. This next scene looks so serene. I love it so much. It's so much atmosphere in everything that we've seen so far. It looks so incredible. Again, we're getting a whole bunch of cool new pieces. We got the pallet pieces that seem to be recolored. We got these big stone pieces that we've seen in the first game a lot. I do think they are a little bit thinner. I also can spot some of the flour sack pieces, which I also really like, and we get that little ladder back as well. But we also get like a net or like a capture thing for animals. Yeah, I really love it. Here we see the construction of the area that you saw in the trailer, and again a lot of really cool pieces. I'm so happy about this. What I like the most are these little boxes and the laptop on top of those boxes. That looks absolutely incredible. But I also really love these closed off gulpy boxes. I hope that they are recolorable so that you can just like make all kinds of variations for this. Then we see the new UI, and I know I've been praising this game so much already, but it looks absolutely incredible. I think it's so relaxing and calming. It isn't as bright as it was before. It really feels a lot calmer and more relaxed, and I really like that about this new UI. This also points us to the fact that habitats seem to be both available for birds and for regular animals, but that aquariums are indeed a separate system. Really interested in seeing how these systems actually work in the game. Here we see another view of the chimpanzee exhibit, and once again we see a whole bunch of items returning. For instance, we have the termite mound coming back from the South American DLC, and this time around it looks like the chimps can use it, which is something that I'm really happy about. In the top right corner, we can once again see that bamboo piece from the South American team, the bamboo wall, and next to it we have one of the sack pieces from the first game. I can also spot one of the newest bridges pieces that we got in one of the later updates of the game. Again, really happy to see so many pieces return. I really like that we get a lot of new pieces, which is really important to me, but I also think that having a whole bunch of existing pieces that we already have in our memory is going to be a really good thing. It allows us to have like something to hold on to. It gives us a point of reference that we can use. Next up, we see another overview of this incredible zoo. We get a really tropical island feel of this entire map, which I really like. But there's some cool little details to point out. First of all, in the bottom left corner, we see a moon jelly brand. Now, I'm not going to say that this means that we're gonna see jellyfish in the game, but like, at the same time, I kind of hope that we do. Next to it, we see the paw print pieces from the first game, and I think for me this is probably the first sign that we're actually really going to get scaling, because these pieces used to be much smaller in the first game. I am assuming that we're going to get scaling. This is a brand new feature in the Planet and the Jurassic World Evolution series, so I think, like, yeah, it makes a lot of sense. You can also see a new enrichment piece for the tigers. It is one that returns from the original game, but that was never available for tigers. So yeah, really cool to see that. And then we get into the screenshots, and wow, this looks absolutely insane. I can't say much about this anymore. This just looks absolutely incredible. Then we get to see another shot of the tigers, and once again, they look absolutely amazing. I just cannot believe we're getting such realistic looking animals. Another thing that I really like and really wanted from the start is more natural enrichment pieces. This looks like we're getting another piece that is usable and looks like one of the foliage pieces. I'm so happy about this. I'm really excited. Here once again we get to see the toucans perching on the tree and flying around in the aviary, and I really love how big you can make these aviaries and that they can be walked through, as you can see with the guests in the back. Really love that, really cool addition. And then we get another shot of this wildlife reserve feature, which I really love, but I want to point out something really cool. We're getting two pieces from the original game back, the marula tree and the acacia in the back, but especially the marula tree is really important to me because a lot of us use that for bushes, and I'm so freaking happy that we get to have this foliage piece again in the sequel. I know that I'm really excited about a lot of these smaller things, but to me those are the things that really make it for, such a great sequel. And if that all wasn't enough, we get to see the chimpanzee sleeping on one of the climbing frames, and this looks like one of the pieces that we had before. So once again, super happy. In the back I can also kind of see the vine pieces again, so yeah, really looking forward to what these pieces are going to be. And then we see the key art, and the key art is also always a little bit difficult to talk about because this isn't an in-game picture, but it's made out of in-game assets, so I do want to point out a few small things. We got some of the plants returning, some of the vines returning, which is really cool. And beneath the sea turtle, we can also see a treasure chest, which I really love. So that's been it. I hope you enjoyed this video. I know there's a whole bunch of people releasing videos today, so I'm really happy that you decided to come here and look at all the things you probably missed in the trailer. I hope you rewatch the trailer like 10 times after this, and I hope you're as excited as I am. I really am happy to see that the sequel is as good as I hoped it would be. I'm going to be honest, I know that I was optimistic, but there was a part of me that was really anxious, and I really didn't want this to be something like a Planet Coaster 2, which isn't bad in my opinion, but I didn't like how it looked. This looks so much better. This fits so much better within the zoo vibe, and I'm so stoked to see more of this game. I hope you are all as excited as me. Let me know in the comments if there were things that you missed, if there were things that I missed, and I hope you're ready for the sequel to Planet Zoo, because I sure am. Thank you so much for watching. Do everything you want to do. Like, comment, and subscribe. And see you all for more news about Planet Zoo 2 in the future.